is it not showing up? Oh, there it is. Okay. So, Deader Than Dead got a Elwyn ban, took Hilda. He also banned Hilda on that side. Now, let's see. The Elwyn ban is due to, I guess, a fair amount of glory here. That's not really. I guess he just doesn't want to deal with Elwyn. It's probably this Elwyn Lusty TJ setup is probably too scary. So he follows up with a ban on TJ and Florentia. He's probably going to take a tank here. And there's Landius. Straw's response looks to be to ban out the assassins. Himiko being pretty annoying. The Hilda pick lets him really ignore TJ and Elwyn. They don't do much to Hilda. Gets an early Mariel. Mariel's fucking scary. So, I can certainly relate to that. Now, Gelmud now banning. With this, he has the option to get rid of... Well, there's still 3 healers left, so he can't really do that. So he's going to have to get rid of a threat. Now, with what he's got... I would think that Noemi is an issue, but he instead opts to get rid of Ares Deedlit. Deedlit being a pretty solid tank buster against Landius. So that's also viable. Now, the 2 assassins, Lusty and Sigma, well, 3, is still a huge threat. So he has to pick something that's not susceptible to that. So he goes with Oldius, which also, incidentally, makes it harder for you to do a juggler jump or to abuse Lustriel as much here. Now, Straw... looking to get rid of the AoE, even though Resensiel is around. Looks like he's probably thinking to just get rid of anything that could possibly survive Mariel. And also any assassin picks. So Bozel, for example, is not an issue for him. TJ is not as much of an issue. So you can let those slide, but Ryan can get big, and he probably doesn't want to take a heal right away here, and he doesn't. There's the Noemi pick that I was looking at for pick number 2, so that's a pretty strong combo there, right? All 3 are Tensei. Mariel can make plays on her own. Noemi can just straight up explode Landius. So what's Gelmud's option here? He may try to ban out Imelda, because Imelda buff on no, he doesn't. Wow. So he leaves Imelda and Resensiel. Doesn't really care about Resensiel since he's mostly single target in his box, so that makes sense. But now there's 3 assassins on the board. And he's running out of picks that are safe from assassins here. So there's Mariel. Sigma can kill Mariel, right? Now, Engage is still pretty open here. Straw gets rid of the heals. Both of them running heavy single target boxes, so Resensiel isn't a high priority, unlike a lot of ladder games where everybody bans Resensiel first. Now he's trying to decide here. Do you take the healer or do you just go assassin? He just goes assassin. So he's just going YOLO. Basically saying, if you ban my healers out, I'll take another assassin. Which is exactly what he doesn't do. He knows. Now this is kind of scary, right? Because there the Imelda Zerda can give Imelda can give Zerda a move buff, which is kind of rough in terms of zoning. Um, Elwyn doesn't have an easy time getting to anything, and now he's gonna lock down any heal potential by getting rid of Jug and Resenciel. So really the onus is gonna be on Gelmud here if he bans these two out. Um, I guess he doesn't want to deal with the reposition from Ares. He says, go ahead, take Resenciel. He'll still get one-shot kills with Noemi, which makes sense. Zerda can also get one-shot kill on TJ. There's the Imelda. So Imelda Zerda is potentially really scary. Imelda Noemi as well. Just because it provides so much mobility that they can just it'll fuck with the math in terms of tile counting here to be safe. Even with Mariel as well if you wanted to. So with Elwyn on the other side, you would think that the engage is heavily in favor of Gelmud, right, between Elwyn and TJ teleport, but Imelda kind of changes that a little bit. He can hold his own now, because suddenly Zerda's hide and seek plus the buff is a 9 range move tile, right? It's basically on demand breeze, right? On top of making the kill potential that much higher. Same thing with Noemi. Noemi's massive range on top of getting a move buff is pretty big. We do have a 60-second delay, but you know what? Let me switch this out before he finalizes anything. Now that I realize that, sorry guys. Okay, here we go. Deploy is out. Noemi pretty scary. Looks like they're both positioning pushed up. Infantry on Landius makes him fairly tanky against this magic damage here. And not as vulnerable versus Mariel. Mariel's Lancer is kind of a liability now if he's gonna hit into Landius, because those guys will get shredded. Sorry guys, it's been a long day. So, pretty standard here, feeling each other out, getting buffs up. TJ versus Noemi, who's the real mage? Am I right? Just kidding. Not too much to talk about right now, they're just positioning. So here's the real question here is, who will see Whip on from Imelda? And I think this Imelda is Clock. So there's the potential for multiple whips to go out, which could really, really be painful to deal with for Gelmud. And then on the other side, you know, it's problematic because Hilda's forced to be Lancer, or else Elwyn will clean up. But that means both Mariel and Landius are going to do really good damage to Hilda, so things are kind of tricky. Straw's going to have to really have a clean engage, because once they go in, Hilda's not going to be as bulky as Landius is, even though her kit is by default tankier, just because of troop advantage. And that's the other thing about that sucks about Marilee, right? Is that she's Lancer on Straw's side, so that's gonna be hard to deal with. Oh, here comes, she's gonna go in already, because he knows that Mariel can't fight the mirror because of the Lancer troop, plus on top of he's on top of the rampart, so it looks like he may just opt to punt and run. The thing is, I think she can still close the gap, right? So he's counting the tiles now. He could force a life off of Elwyn right here, but that's not going to do anything. Mariel's just going to counter kill. I think she just has to run, it looks like. Right? I don't think you have much choice but to run. Because you can't kill Landius, or Elwyn. All you'll do is take a revive. He's really weighing his options here. Same thing with Oldius in the back. Oh, I think he's gonna go. No? Yes, he is gonna run. It's to be expected is that he runs. There's no upside to trying to kill Elwyn here. The punt does its job though, prevents Mariel from landing any big blows. So we're still in the positioning game. Mariel definitely can't push up, because she will die to Noemi in the following turn. And the thing is, I think she has to straight up just go back to Landius, because there's no guard. There's no 2-range guard right now. So Mariel can potentially just straight up die to Noemi. And if Noemi positions on top of the tower, Elwyn may not be able to counter kill. I mean, I suppose TJ could potentially, but that could be a cross kill if TJ tries to land the kill because of counter damage, since Garb will be up. He does back up, but not all the way. At least now, if she wants to decide. Oh no, she can't reach. Okay, so she can't reach. Unless it's Genius Staff? No, I don't think so. Okay, so here's the faction buff. Mariel does have engage potential. So playing super safe, to be expected. It's a breeze proc, so next turn could be a big turn. We're going to be looking for the Imelda whip here pretty soon. Right, she didn't whip it yet, right? Meanwhile, TJ already ported, so that's going to be down for this cycle. Elwin can't really engage without Mariel or TJ softening up Hilda, and on top of that, it's tricky too because you know you're risking Thorns. Thorns could potentially counter kill TJ, so Mariel really is the ideal target to soften up Hilda. Chooses to push up little by little here. Here's the faction buff. Oh man, super tired. These late games are killing me, guys. It's just killing me. Looking, Gelmud looking to fish for a breeze buff. Does not get it. Tenyo breeze would have put her back in range. Would have put her in range of the engage. So sometimes you just gotta fish like that and see what you can get, especially when there's not really much happening. Elwin certainly is ready to just go in as soon as Mariel clears the way here. But it's also okay for Gelmud not to go, so there's no need to rush. That's why you fish, right? You get the Tenyo breeze, you go in with Mariel Elwin. If you don't, then you just wait and build stacks on TJ and wait for the next teleport. Now here's a bait. Right? This looks like a bait. Because he's basically saying, here, please hit my Zerida, right? This has to be a bait. Because why else would you move into range? And when I say bait, if you think about it, right? So she can go, the first hit will get guarded by Hilda. And it won't do that much because the first hit's not that hard. But the second hit, if she goes after Zerida, I think Zerida survives because of strategist garb buff plus her Alhazard buff. So is that what she's doing? Is that what Strau's doing here? He's baiting. It's not taking the bait though. There's the regen. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Guard, okay. How bad is this hit gonna be? Shouldn't be too bad, right? War Goddess. Oof. Okay, but now Strategist Garb will be up for the next attack on those two. So the question is, does he go after Mariel? No, goes after Zerida. Can you survive? No, Zerida cannot survive. So the bait may not work here. But on the flip side, oh sorry guys, it's 12:30 Ancient. Let me turn up my volume. Sorry guys, I can't talk too loud. People sleeping up in this shit. Let me see here. Where is my... Hey, can I not turn it up? What's going on here? We're missing critical commentary here. He did kill the Mariel, which was to be expected. And if you think about that, then you know, now you have the option to you know, you have the option to just tank. There's risk now, right? You can't soften up Hilda with Mariel because Mariel's dead, and TJ can't very easily go in either. So that's pretty tricky. Okay, so now we're playing the fog game, just waiting each other out. Obviously Gelmud can't just go in haphazardly, he has no heals. So if it becomes a sustained game, it's a losing battle for him. Whereas Straw, his game is just to make sure that Hilda doesn't get gibbed. But that's a little bit easier, right? Because you're really just saying, I dare you to try to hit me. Oh boy, here we go. Gets a purge, nice clock. That regen could do a lot of work if it doesn't get stripped off by Elwyn at some point here. But the thing is, Elwyn is probably... Well, no, Elwyn will probably open to strip buffs, and then TJ will follow up. It's kind of scary, though. Kind of scary. Because Noemi and Mariel can certainly get some kills here. He opts to stay back. I wonder if he's baiting for Thorn's proc from Noemi. And now Noemi only has one more attack before she loses her range buff. So Straw being more judicious about it. Unlike certain other people I know that'll just straight up yeet into that shit, but good for him. Teleport is still up, I believe. I missed it while I was trying to adjust my volume. But yeah, I think teleport is up. So there is that. Whether or not that factors in here, we shall see. Okay, TJ's going in. Better not have Thorn's proc. Oh, didn't matter. Can't break through because of Strategist Garb. No, I'm so good, yo. Okay, so now the question is, what's he gonna do here? I think he just stays, right? He just heals? I mean, you can't kill Landius. Everybody else is guarded, so yeah, he just stays. Alwyn's got to decide if he's going to go in or not. The next turn is going to be tricky. Oh, here it comes. He does go in. Strips all the buffs, so he'll be taking a lot more damage because of that. Now this is going to be very tough here. I think Gelmud might have this here. Now, she can heal, but that's just a band-aid here. We have 3 DPS about to rail into you. But you can't kill Elwyn because of the revive. And if you don't heal, TJ will just explode. Well, Elwyn then TJ really, but his options are kind of limited. So I guess I mean, I guess technically she could have moved up. She could have moved to the bottom spot with Hilda unguarded, and hope that Noemi survives the next turn. But he's going for some more chip damage because of that clock. That kind of RG is painful. So now mobility is extremely limited. And there isn't really a whole lot Straw can do at this point. This is going to get a punt. I mean, it does take a life, but, you know, nice breeze, a little bit of luck, and finally some luck going Straw's way here. But Elwyn can just heal back to full here. And guard is down, so Elwyn can effectively just kill Imelda potentially here. I don't know if strategist garb is enough to survive. Here it is. And now really, I think what it boils down to is whether or not the roll of the dice says Thorns procs on TJ. Because that's the only real threat at this point, right? If TJ gets the Thorns, or if TJ procs Thorns on the attack and dies, then Straw can still could possibly win out. It'll still be tough, simply because of the troops on Mariel. But yeah, if TJ dies to Thorns, Noemi then gets the kill on Elwyn the following turn, and then it's 2v3. But Landius is infantry, and Oldius will keep proccing heals while guarded. So how do you break through that is the question. So he just pushes up. He's not scared. I think this is going to be the counter kill on Elwyn here. I don't think you have a choice but to do that. And there's that kill. So it's 2v3 now. Noemi guard break can be a winner here depending on how you do turn order. Since guard break on Landius with that ice followed by a Mariel kill on TJ could still win. There's the thorns. Here we go. Oh shit, dude! There it is. Now it's now it's now it's a toss up a little bit. Landius could still potentially get this kill though. So this is tricky here. Let's see what happens. He meleeed, interestingly enough. Okay. So what happens here? Okay, so she should be safe there. Chips a lot of the infantry down, which means Mariel can now possibly do some decent damage. Okay. Fighting on the turret, that's the way to go. Here we go. I don't think you have much choice, right? That's it. You just have to go. There's the guard. Gets a dispel. It's close. Gets a breeze. Life still goes on here. I don't think anybody will die next turn. But the thing is, Oldius is going to get some proximate heals here. Right? Now... Let's see. Okay, so opts to go Mariel first. I don't think you can really punt. Right? So it's really just a damage component. Now, is it gonna do enough damage? I mean, it hits pretty fucking hard. It does, and there's that. But I think Landius? No, Landius won't get the kill because of Garp. So this can still go Straw's way. Here we go. Straw can just bomb from a distance, right? There's that. Oh, he's gonna claim a life. Okay, wow. Straw with the recovery, guys. Excellent play here. Survives because of Garb, and that's game number 1. Okay, it's gonna be side box time, so swapping over to my view here. Until they get their side box stuff set up. This is solid game from Straw, clutching it out. Even though he was somewhat behind at points. Okay, the draft is starting, and we open with the Hilda ban on Gelmud, just like last game. Straw being P2 this time on Hidden Gorge. Now we see a Resensiel ban, looking like Gambit mixed in some stuff here. Is an early Landius or early Oldius. Now, Straw only Gelmud only has 2 tanks, but it doesn't seem like Straw's concerned about that. He's more wary of the AoE threats because of the Resensiel ban. So he chooses to get rid of Rian and Himiko, both very game-turning heroes here, with AoEs and debuffs that are really crippling if you get the right ones. And his follow-up pick could potentially be a DPS now, right? Since you're not as penalized in the longer game without a heal if there's not as much AoE. Gelmud does go ahead and ban another healer and Mariel. Mariel putting in work last game, so that's understandable. Going back to this whole AoE spam that we're seeing lately. Now he still has the option to go single target here, but he does get Jug first. The oldest pick before that, allowing for Jug to ensure that Jug has faction buff. Now Straw really hovering over TJ here. The Juggler TJ combo is pretty potent in terms of disabling guard reliably. There's still 3 healers on Gelmud's side. He may look to get rid of another AoE, potentially getting rid of Ares, for example. Alwyn is not really an issue. Could also look to get rid of Sigma or Mariel, but the thing is, for Sigma at least, the anti-crit from Hilda is pretty debilitating, so it looks like he is going to go and get rid of Ares. Ares' engage is pretty hard to deal with. And now on his side, he only has 2 healers available, so he does take Flow before any more healers get banned out. Solid choice, obviously. Flow also providing some counterplay if Gelmud decides to YOLO in with Sigma or Mariel. So, I'm not sure where Gelmud goes here. He could go Bozel, but if he goes Bozel, there's 3 assassins on the other side just waiting. So that's not an easy choice. Even if he bans 2 assassins to get Bozel, the third one will be crippling. The other option is to go Mariel. Or lock up a heal, even though he already has 3 healers, and you don't want to do that. Because then the rest of your DPS is going to be banned, and you're just going to have a shitty end pick. So Jug is kind of a tough spot, right? Do you ban out the assassins so you can get more AoE, or do you ban out the mages that are going to explode Jug? He opts to ban the mages, but the thing is, Noemi is still there. There's three mages, 3 assassins. So his options are still limited. There's the Bozel, even though there's 3 assassins on the board. Straw could potentially limit engage range for Gelmud so that his assassins can push up and really zone out Bozel. And there's Sigma. So this is going to be kind of tough, right? Because Sigma can just straight up explode Bozel if he comes close. And Imelda is still on the board for a potential combo there to guarantee that Sigma gets in range. Gets rid of more of the long leg threats. Meanwhile, both Act Agains are now gone from Gelmud, whereas Straw has an Act Again. So he can really dictate the pace of this fight. When he wants to, he can just kick that on. And it will be charging up because you have Hilda. He also gets Noemi, who can obliterate Jug, or for that matter, Elwyn, um, if it's in range. You can't really even guard, so I mean, I think Gelmud's gonna have to get Resencio, right? No, he just says, I'm not gonna take a real tank. Because Resencio isn't really gonna stop the one-shots. So that's sensible. Switching out for deployment here. I really like Straw's draft in this game. He seems to have a lot of threats, whereas Gelmud is going to have a hard time dealing with those threats. Oldiest tiles aren't going to be as prohibitive for Straw, with the exception of just Jug. You know, his ability to move around, but everybody else is going to be able to put in work here and ignore the tile effects. Now on Gelmud's side, he can disable, try to disable guard, but you know, Straw also has Jug, so he has two tanks. So it's 2 tank versus 2 tank. It's going to be a positioning battle, and I guess really the win condition seems to be here, whether Bozel is effective in this fight, because otherwise Noemi is just gonna kill everybody, I think. So let's see what Bozel can do. There is limited amount of dispels on Straw's side, so if he doesn't have a clean, decisive engage, then Bozel could potentially put in work with all the debuffs, but I don't know, man. Bozel's kind of slow. Sigma can initiate before Bozel can, most likely. Now Straw is just getting buffs set up, whereas Gelmud is pushing up. So this is really going to boil down to how much work Bozel can put in, I think. Getting some lag here. Straw content to just sit in place and buff up. Now tank priority is on Hilda, though it doesn't matter too much because Ellen's gonna have to deal with Lancer for both tanks. Sigma, let's see who he marks. Does he go ahead and mark Bozo? Or does he do something else? It's kind of the question, isn't it? He does have buffs up now on Bozel and Jug, so he's a little bit tankier. And here comes, here's the mark on Bozel as expected. So it really becomes a question of the impact Bozel will have, because he seems to be the primary, not primary, but the only win condition really for Gelmud. He has limited sustainable AoE. No real debuffs to speak of except for Bozel. The rest of the debuffs aren't really going to affect these guys. Water debuff isn't that big of a deal for infantry. And follow-up AoEs really aren't going to pack that much of a punch because of Garb. So here we go, is the Sudden Strike. You know, like we were saying, Sigma dictating, you know, when he wants to engage. And now here it goes. This should be a kill, right? That's the expectation here. There's the kill. And now basically, what do you do? I mean, even if you get the trade on Sigma, how do you stop Noemi from killing the rest of your team? He doesn't. He knows what's up.